I'm not smart. My name is Rick Waldron, and I'm a JavaScript enthusiast and an evangelist at Boku in Boston, Massachusetts. We're basically a development shop, if you will. Uh, we specialize in basically trying to push the envelope as far as reasonably possible and as often as possible. One of my most recent projects that I'm really excited about and proud of the release, and really excited because on Tuesday we'll be open sourcing, was the Ringmark mobile acid test suite that was announced by Facebook. That was actually built in conjunction. Basically, Boku and Facebook worked together to create that, and we're really excited. It's a series of feature detection tests that should be used. Ideally, the audience is OEMs and browser vendors. Like, they should be passing this test. Basically, it's 3 rings. The first ring is kind of like the current state of mobile browsers, cross section or the intersection of iOS and Android, like the WebKit that ships on it, which is truly an unfortunate browser. And then there's a second ring, which is like, this is where browsers need to fill in, and each ring is basically built up of a test result of a feature. So when you run it, by the way, the website is rng.io. So if you run it on your phone, it's pretty fun. You get like a gray block for a failure or a green block for a pass, and so you get these spotted rings. The idea is all rings should be green. Once all rings are green, that will signify that this device is actually capable of allowing you to create an application that has all the traits of the top 100 native applications. So if in the native application world, of the top 100 most popular applications, they all have requirements. Can I take a picture? Can I save that picture? Can I do this, that, or the other thing? A lot of these things browsers simply can't do. So the idea is that once all 3 rings are filled in on any given device, that device will have tested positively capable of hosting on the web any of these applications. So that's actually, I think, why Tony originally asked me to speak, was because I was playing around with Getusermedia. Is anybody familiar with Getusermedia? Yeah? No? Raise your hand if you are. No. Getusermedia is one of 2 APIs that is basically in development. It's actually available on Chrome Canary and Opera Mobile 12, and a special build of Opera called the Labs Camera build. And what Getusermedia does is, similarly to the geolocation app API, allows you to basically, with the user's permission, access their hardware's or their device's camera and microphone without Flash, without a plugin, completely natively. The other part of the WebRTC package is peer connection, which is incredible. There's actually a demo app that ships with the WebRTC.org's peer connection test kit, and it's basically like a totally browser-based conference call that they developed as a means of testing implementations. I highly recommend downloading. You can get their Mercurial repo, build the peer connection server, and open up the. I think it's just called like peerconnection.html. It's like right there in the app, and you'll see there's you, and then you connect to your local host, and you have somebody else in the room connect, maybe right to your computer. You can host it right on your MacBook Pro or whatever. Just, do allow for web share. And boom, your friend shows up in the web page with you. No plugins, no Flash, nothing. It's an incredible experience. I did like a quick demo for some trainees that we had at Boku, because we do like JavaScript, jQuery, HTML5 trainings. And during the HTML5 trainings, Richard Worth, who was running the training, invited me in, and it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like kind of brain dead already, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I was like, here's what I'll do. So I actually invited them all to peer connect with me all at the very same time. And what ended up happening was like all of our laptops were going bananas with like basically the audio couldn't keep up with the echo in the room, because I'm talking, and then your laptop can still hear me and you're talking to me. It was just like this big circular cuckoo batshit thing was going on. But anyway, that was really fun. So this is back to Boku. This is basically like the kind of stuff that we do all day long at Boku, and it's really exciting. And another thing is that we have what we call sort of, it's similar to Google's 20% time, except that ours is, we make it mandatory. So we have like this 20 or 25% time that we can screw off, is essentially what it is, because it's just good for developers. Like as engineers, like if you feel like you're getting stagnant and working on the same thing over and over again, day in and day out, you're not going to love what you do. So at Boku, we foster sort of this like, always be sure to screw around for, at least a little bit every week. So part of my screwing around lately has been playing with Arduinos. And about a year ago, Chris Williams, Voodoo Tiki God, the guy who's putting on JSConf, he was working on Node Serial Port, which is a little package that he created that made it easy to interface with serial ports. And I was just blown away by this. I thought this was the most amazing thing. So I went out and I bought an Arduino kit. I was like, this is really cool. I'm going to just do stuff. What am I going to do? I have no idea what I'm going to do. So I started playing with Node Serial Port, and there wasn't much that I could do with it at times, because I didn't really know all that much about, electrical engineering or, Arduinos. Like, I went to college for computer science. General theories were taught, but that was also a decade ago. Anyway, long story short, I was a little rusty. And not only that, like we're talking about like writing in C and C++ to do the like actual Arduino interfacing programs. So I made this cool little thing that was a light dependent resistor plugged into, breadboard, and reading on the pin with a little I/O program running on the Arduino that was basically feeding the readouts from the board back through the serial port. And then there was a little Node program running using serial port, just printing out what the light dependent resistor readouts were reading back. And honestly, I had no idea what use this could ever do. Like, I don't know. It's just cool. This is neat. So, I committed the files, like I had it working, and I was like, this is awesome. I took a video with my phone and I put it on YouTube. I was like, check this out. This is me controlling hardware, and it's interfacing with Node, and this is the most amazing shit ever. Wow. It was like 30 seconds of literally me touching a photoresistor and like covering it over so that when it got dark, the numbers would go down. Then I'd let it go, the numbers would go up, and it wasn't really that exciting. But it was exciting for me at the time, because I'm the kind of guy who says, well, what the hell can we do with it? How many times do you guys say to yourselves, what can we do with this? Who says that? Raise your hands. I want to see some audience participation. Yeah, that's right. All of you. You're like, well, what can we do with it? we can launch missiles with it. That's what we can do. Can you imagine writing a JavaScript program that you can launch missiles with? That would be pretty amazing. So before most of you showed up earlier, Tony and I were just kind of gabbing because I was trying to figure out doing screen share and stuff. Because believe it or not, I like rarely use Skype. So Tony had this great idea. He was like, "Well, remember we were talking about, WebRTC and Getusermedia?" And he asked me a question, and I was like, "That is an awesome idea." So I'm going to share it with everybody. So Tony asked me, "What if you had a sensor running, like a little Arduino that had, like the ping sensor? Basically, the ping is it sends out a pulse and counts the microseconds between the time it sends out the pulse and the time it receives the pulse back. You can take that number of microseconds, divide it by 2, and then divide that number by 74 because there's 74 microseconds to travel an inch. So you do all this math and you say, I've detected something, 12 inches away. Send a message through the serial port to the Node program that's running saying, hey, somebody has sat down at this laptop. And then the Node program's like, I know what to do, and sends a message out through Socket.io to a browser. It's waiting for a signal that says, oh, wait, this browser wants to take pictures with Getusermedia. So it's going to snap a shot, copy the pixel data from a canvas. I skipped a step. That's okay. It's going to get the pixel data, right? And then it's going to do to data URL to get a base64 encoded version of that snap. It's down Socket.io to the Node.js program and save it on the server. We just detected the presence of a person and took a picture of them. That's what we can do with that, right? So this actually came from this bizarro idea I had when I got home from work. I was like, I know what I'll show these guys. I'm gonna rig up a piezo buzzer and chain that to grunt watch so that every time I fail linting my code, it buzzes at me. That idea got so annoying so fast that so those of you that were here, you remember, like I showed you, like, every time you save, literally every time you save, it's going to run grunt watch and it's going to lint your code. Imagine that thing buzzing at you. You're like, yes, I know I'm making mistakes. God, stop it. It wouldn't be fun anymore. So I scaled that idea back after some reasonable consideration. And I'm going to show you guys what I did. First, I'm going to show you how it gets put together. And to answer the gentleman sitting next to Tony, you have the question, like, how is this actually working together? So there's an actual C++ program that you compile and send up serial to the microcontroller on the Arduino, and that basically says whenever the Arduino has power, run an event loop. That's it. That's all the Arduino knows how to do, is run an event loop and basically be able to read the state of any of the pins that are on it. It's pretty basic. What you can do with it is incredible. Who here in the group has done a significant amount of, or even not a significant amount, just like hobby-wise, like hardware stuff, like tinkering on hardware? Yeah? Nice. Who owns a soldering iron? Nice. I think I've used the soldering iron like once, because this Arduino stuff is like literally like plug it in and it's solderless. It's awesome. It's very easy to reuse stuff this way. So I'm gonna actually show you the board in a second, but I want to show you the code first. The C++ stuff's not that interesting. It's basically just like analog read to pin when I get this signal. Write to the serial port when I get this other signal. So you actually have to like send a message to it for certain things to actually get messages back in certain cases. It's like, I understand that basically like how the hardware has to work, but I was like, this isn't good enough for me. That's too complicated for JavaScript and for Node and for anybody that wants to write a JavaScript program that interfaces with hardware. So I said, fuck that. I'm going to make it all event-based. So I'm going to screen share so that I can actually show you what the snip of code looks like that's going to run the demo that I'm going to show you following that. So bear with me. We're going into screen share mode. How we doing? You guys see my screen? You see yourselves, huh? All right. So basically, we're actually in the Arduino repo right now, but you would pull this down with npm. However, I'm going to warn against actually using the version of Arduino that's on npm because the maintainer hasn't been very responsive in the last week or so with my pull requests, and there's a lot of broken stuff in the upstream. Hopefully, he'll get back on the wagon with pulling those in, and we'll get those things fixed. But regardless, let's move on. So if you can see, try to make this. How's that? You guys see kind of what's going on? All right. So create the Arduino object, and we initialize a board, a ping, a piezo, and an LED. As you can see, I'm going to get this board rolling. I'm going to suppress the debug messages because that basically makes the console go bananas. And we're going to create an LED. That's all it takes. Just give it the board, tell it what pin it's on. This is all I needed for a ping sensor. Again, just the board and just the pin to read from. And the piezo. This is the whole program. See that? Line 24, some comments to line 43. When the ping gets a read event, we can, hold on, let me pull that. Sorry about that. This instance tracks the distances. Well, sorry, the distance between itself and the object that it's bumping into. You can get it in microseconds, inches, or centimeters. It's all property of the instance. We very simply say, hey, if the object got closer than 5 inches, blink the LED. Otherwise, shut it off. If it's closer than 2 inches, be really annoying and buzz an A tone, or so it says. The piezo module didn't actually write, so I can't speak for it. But buzz that real quick blip. Now, you don't want to, like, say, these are actually milliseconds, because if I were to put in, like, a full second, this gets written via serial, and then actually written down to the pin. So when you write for a full second, you actually need to wait a full second before you write again. So if we actually want a long buzzing noise, all you really need to do is really short bursts, and it'll write fast enough to make it sound as though it was like a one long tone. So far, I'd say that this is fairly clear. We're just getting readings. It's all event-based. Now, how about I'm going to take the screen back and show you guys what this does, because that's exciting. Whoops. Well, that was me practicing. Nice. Nice one, Rick. All right. You guys there? You see me now? Here's a tour of this little gizmo. This here is the ping sensor. It sends pulses out this side, comes, whatever it bumps into, returns and reads back here. Basically, how long in microseconds does it take to get to the camera and back? On the other side, we've got, I don't know if you can see, this is the buzzer, and here's the LED, which is still on from the last time I ran it. Now, mind you, a lot of this stuff was written just this last weekend, so bear with me. But I promise it works. One moment. All right. So I'm running this from the command line right now, and I'm going to screen share so you guys can see that. You guys see that on the side there? That's telling me how many inches. Saying it's I'm putting my hand kind of closer to it. You hear that? Oh, shit. I crashed it. Nice. Go me. So, like I said, it's not perfect, but whoa, flicker crazy over there. Something's going bananas. So, right? Okay, that's wicked annoying. I'm sorry. Thank you for putting up with that momentarily. But the whole idea of this is that was just like 2 days of programming this past weekend, like in my spare time. And I think it's fairly easy to follow the code, the code example that I showed. So I think you can imagine yourself like, what can I create with this, right? Like, this is pretty easy shit to follow. Like, now the question is, what are we going to make with it? I mean, the sky's kind of the limit. My next big thing I want to tackle is the servo motors, being able to actually do like 180-degree mechanical motions from JavaScript. Because then what's the next thing? Talking like little clampy fingers and stuff, like picking up things and moving with JavaScript. And the next thing you know, we've got, Ford using JavaScript programs to run their assembly lines. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. I'm saying it's possible. Remember when I introduced myself, I said I'm a JavaScript enthusiast and evangelist. So I'm going to try to sell you on the possibility of launching missiles with JavaScript. I think it's reasonable. But so I guess that's really what I want to show you. That's what I'm excited about right now. What I want to know is, do you have any questions about this ridiculous crap? Because I can only imagine that you probably have many questions. So how about hit me? Anybody? Again? Sorry, I'm having some crazy audio problem over here. Whoever is asking, come forward and ask. Hey, dude. Yeah. Oh, awesome, man. That's kind of cool for me to hear somebody who like could easily poke serious holes in what. Oh wait, kind of like that company who's like they forgot the var statement and their whole launch was blown, right? what were they called? Like Melon Card or something like that. I don't know. They had like like one of the founders had and posted an article, and the fact is like I really didn't feel bad for them because all they had to do was use like JS hint or JS lint to lint their code, and that never would have been a problem. Or like write unit tests, then that's not a problem. But anyway, so all of that code is actually available on my fork of the repo, and I set the development branch that has all the fixes for the IO program to be the default branch. So when you get there, you'll be on the development branch that has everything I've done so far right then and there for you to just grab and use and do stuff with. But I think that there's like a serious potential here, and like I get very excited and very enthusiastic about ridiculous shit, and I think this is completely ridiculous. And I'm excited to see where this goes in like the next 2 years, 3 years. I mean, it's hard to imagine like this being something that like you want to have like sitting next to your beautiful MacBook Pro and your iPhone on your desk, and you got this bizarre thing. But like the next step I'm thinking is using Bluetooth instead of being tethered down to USB, like being able to actually like make the serial connections instead of using serial ports, using Bluetooth connections. So that'll be pretty exciting. And again, it's all open source, so if anybody knows a thing or two about that, feel free to contribute ideas and code. So, how about you guys? How about everybody tells me what they do? Because there's like a whole room of people there. Let's start with. Okay. Yeah. I do, but it's currently not plugged in. Ah, you're killing. That is absolutely 100% possible. Like totally, totally doable. Like even in the state of like the servo code right now, it's actually capable of doing that. You could do that right now with Node, with the Arduino package. Totally possible. And I might even try that like on Saturday before I leave for JSConf or something, or no, the following week. Yeah. Ugh, I love special records. Cool. That's exciting. Maybe you'll show me that place when I'm there for the conference. uh, if you play your cards right. All right, who's next? I'm gonna start picking people. All right, guy with iPad, you're up. Nice. What is the backend as a service built in? Oh, excellent. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. That rules. All right. The other gentleman on the couch, you're up. And that's it? No, more. Oh, I know. I know. Yeah. as soon as he said his name, I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. All right, who's next? Oh, somebody's stepping up. Nice to meet you, Gary. Hey, note to the fellas on the couch. See, these guys are actually coming over to see me. Nice. That's awesome. Really exciting to hear like all these people interested in Node. I mean, it's so cool to be able to just like extend your skills like to everywhere possible now. How's it going? Oh wow, that's pretty crazy. So there must be a lot of like secure. There are a lot of security involved in that development. I'm guessing. Oh wow, that's crazy. Oh, you know what? It just occurred to me. You could totally use like Arduino like RF tags to like as security dongles for your to like unlock capabilities of back end programs. Just saying. I mean, I don't know if RF is secure or at all, but hey, could be fun. Hey, Joe. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, that rules, man. Dude, I quit my last job in March of 2010 when Boku finally got to a point where like we could sustain and I never looked back. Man, it's really exciting to just not work for somebody else, just to work for yourself. It rules. How's it going, dude? Hey, there's always room for improvement. No, to be honest, man, I spent about I'd say 10 years writing PHP code and like it's almost like a breath of fresh air when you don't do it anymore. You know, it's like coming up it's like coming up from like when you're underwater or like your older brother's been holding you underwater like you know that game? Is anybody familiar with that game where your older brother just dunks you and holds you there like a jerk? When he lets you go, you come up like, oh, this is what it's like. Get it? Writing programs. So is that everybody? Nobody. Nice, 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 awesome. Yep, yep. Oh, oh, that sucks. Oof. Hey, you know what though? I gotta say, I'm glad that you checked your backpack because you would have been freaking bumming if you hadn't. If you had just come in and like started shooting the shit, playing with Nerf guns or whatever, you might never have realized that your laptop was not in your backpack. Hey, cool. Wait, hold on a second. Why so early in the morning? Just because there's not enough hours in the day? I get. It. Yeah, yeah. I can understand that. Um, so quick funny story. When we were working with Facebook on the Ringmark test sweep, it drove me bananas when I would get like Q&A feedback or code review stuff after I've left the office. You know, because I'm in Boston. Like I'm not opposed to staying late. Like I stay late like, all the time. I actually don't even know if it's staying late anymore. I think it's just staying to the time I leave, which is 7:30 or 8 o'clock. But like by the time like I would get like Q&A feedback, it was always somehow after I've left. And it's because they're in San Francisco, like and they're getting to it at the end of the day or whatever the case may be. And it was like God, can you just get on my time? I was being very selfish about it. Like, God, because it would stress me out because I'd be at home and I'm like, oh, I want to eat dinner and hang out with my girlfriend and my dogs. I can't help not checking my email. I don't have to get all these emails like, oh, can you do this? Blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's fine the way it is. And then I look at it the next morning and like, I guess it's not that unreasonable of a request. I just didn't want to hear it when I wasn't at the office. I guess that's more funny for me than for you guys. Uh, hold on. Wait right there. That's Taco. He's a French bulldog. And one second. Hey, come here. Come here. Come here. and this is Allie. She's a Australian Kelpie and does not like being picked up. As you can see, there's quite a size difference. I don't know. I occasionally like to post videos of them wrestling with each other because it's hilarious. She's like probably 2/3 his size and just he'll be like, let's play. I'm a puppy and crazy. And she's just like, nah, and will like pin him down with her mouth and just hold him there. And he's like, I'm a French bulldog. It's hard for me to move. But it's all in good fun. She'd never hurt him. I don't think she would anyway. So those are my dogs. Sorry they didn't really co-host with me and that I had to like fight them to show up. It's late. They're tired. So you guys have Divya coming up next? Cool. She's awesome. What is she talking about? Well, I think that it's about it for me. Like, I don't know. I don't have much else to talk about. I mean, I suppose I could just talk forever, but I'm kind of tired. Uh, this was really fun. I can't wait. Hopefully, I'll get to meet some of you guys when I'm out there in about a week and a half or so. Like what? Like what are you talking about? Like it literally like a nanosecond. Twice. That's awesome. Are you describing me right now? Okay, so real quick aside, for those of you that aren't familiar, I'm actually also on the jQuery core dev team. I'm on the bugs team, so like I commit fixes when you report them to the tracker, or I just close your tickets and tell you I won't fix it, which is happens more often than not. But I've become in the last year or so I've become somewhat of a code style guide lunatic, if you will. Uh, yeah, if anybody's interested in my beliefs about code style, Tony, you're familiar with idiomatic JS repo? Pass the link on to these guys, and you guys can all see my lunatic manifesto about code style. It's actually available now in French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Korean. So sorry, you were saying. Continue. Nice. Anything by Ennio Morricone? Yes. Guaranteed win. Wait, one last thing I want to show you guys. Wait, can you see all those? Yes. So that stand is is like has historic importance. Rose bought that from I think it's like Filene's basement in downtown Boston when it was going out of business, which is like a big Boston thing. Anyway, all right, guys, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me, and hopefully I'll meet some of you while I'm in Arizona. And if I don't, bummer. It was great to meet you guys tonight, and thanks. Talk to you guys later.
Awesome. Let me show you something real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can see this. This is where I spilled nachos on my laptop while I was talking to you. You can't see it, but it's worth it. It's pretty cool.
I thought that was going to be one of those hang-up jokes. Like,